We learned this week, and once again, of the reliable facility of the Eurovision Song Contest for conjuring diplomatic incidents about which not one sane person cares in the slightest. Or do they?
Oh, phew.
Thank God for that.
I, for one, very much care about this
relieved
kind
now,
of
Ram.
thing, and I'm definitely not mental.
Well, fair enough. We learned that this year's iteration of the Pan-Continental Warbling Tournament, which will be all over for another glorious year as of Sunday,
Yay!
had occasioned hostilities between Italy and Estonia. We learned that the cause of this diplomatic spat, possibly indeed even a stramash gusting full-blown brouhaha, was this.
Ciao Bella, I'm Tommaso, addicted to tobacco. Me like me coffee, very importante.
That being Estonia's 2025 submission, Espresso Macchiato by Tommy Cash. No relation, so far as we have been able to discern, to Johnny, June Carter or Roseanne. We learned upon reluctant scrutiny of the lyrics that Italy, the aggrieved party in this instance, aside from, music lovers or people with serviceable ears generally, may actually have a case, as the lyrics can be fairly said to have applied the Italian stereotypes with a somewhat heavy hand on the trowel.
I work around the clock, that's why I'm sweating like a mafioso. Life is like spaghetti, it's hard until you make it.
We learned that among the Italian politicians who had perceived mileage in pretending to be enraged by this drivel was Gianmarco Centinaio, Vice President of the Senate, who thundered thus, as will now be intoned with due menace by Monocle's Inane Vendettas desk chief, Chiara Ramella.
Whoever insults Italy must stay out of Eurovision.
We learned, however, that as of the first semi-final on Tuesday, this was a minority opinion, as Estonia's jabbering nonsense won through to Saturday's final, where bookmakers confidently expect them not to win. Although we learned upon scrutiny of the odds that bookmakers do reckon that this, from Sweden, might win, and to be honest, it's not notably worse. Been a while since we've had a Eurovision winner with an accordion, and on which subject? What should you throw to a drowning accordionist? Their accordion. Perusing the semi-final results further, however, we learned of the folly of the fate-tempting song title, in this instance deployed by Slovenia, specifically
How much time do we have left together?
none, it turned out. Sticking, however, with the subject of continental oddballs beclowning themselves while attempting to rouse the pride of their nation, it would appear to be Accordion Week, which, who knows, might yet become a national holiday in Germany if certain excitable yahoos get their way. Regular listeners to these weekly news reviews may recall that late 2022 or so, we met tweed-jacketed minor aristocrat Heinrich XIII and several co-conspirators who were rolled up by German plod on charges of plotting to re-establish the German Empire as it was from 1871 to 1918. And sure, why not? It went pretty well for at least 43 of those 47 years. We learned, however, of another bunch of hapless bozos seized with similar ambitions, which, we learned, unaccountably given the intellectual firepower animating the scheme, had also been thwarted.
Aww.
We learned that the ringleaders of Clue in the Name Kingdom of Germany, which, like pretty much everything else, sounds more ominous in the original German, i.e. Königreich Deutschland, had gotten their outfit banned and their collars felt. Among the arrestees, their putative monarch, Peter Fitzek, or Peter I, to his acolytes, whose as yet incomplete ascent to the German throne has included stints as a New Age bookseller and karate instructor, and given the luck he is having as a royalty restorationist, probably wise he has options to fall back on. Persisting with the motif of adventures in Middle European law enforcement, cue the Alphorns. We learned quite a lot about both the top flight speed and the lack of respect for traffic laws of the mallard. Yes, we learned this from police in the central Swiss settlement of Könitz, who, 1, may not be overstretched, and 2, released images of said wild duck caught by traffic cameras in the small hours, proceeding at a clip reckoned at not less than 52 kilometers per hour in what is, as the road signage makes abundantly clear, a 30 kilometer per hour zone. It gets worse. Könitz's finest believe, or at least have been willing to speculate in order to attract attention on social media, that the creature is a repeat offender, a similar-looking bird having been photographed in exactly the same spot, doing roughly the same speed in 2018. Verily, those night shifts at the Könitz cop shop in the intervening 7 years must have absolutely whooshed by. At the very real risk of appearing humorless, however, it is little wonder in the footage that no people are visible on the streets, which, were it not for fear of the duck, would surely be like the streets of every other Swiss town after dark, i.e. a riot of colour, music, dance and breezy good vibes to rival Rio in Carnival Week. For what we mostly learn is that the clearly terrified burghers of Könitz are being sorely let down by law enforcement, in that the duck remains clearly at large, police having failed after all this time to...
Oh no.
Quack the case.
Boo.
For Monocle Radio, I'm Andrew Mueller.